Imagine being cut off from the world. No steady supply of medicine, no spare parts, no access to those factories you once depended on. Imagine being told, go figure it out yourself. That was Biafra. And what happened next turned out to be one of the most remarkable stories of innovation in African history. When people hear Biafra, they often think only about war or the heartbreaking pictures of starving children we see everywhere. But there is another side of this story worth remembering. You see, the stories of doctors, scientists, engineers, mechanics, and even ordinary people trying to solve impossible problems. You see, during the Civil War, Biafra faced a severe blockade. Imported goods became scarce, machines broke down, medical supplies ran low, fuel was difficult to obtain. For many societies, this condition would have meant complete collapse. But necessity became an invention workshop. Suddenly, people started making things they had previously imported. Engineers improvised machine parts. Technicians repaired equipment that should have been beyond repair. Researchers experimented with local substitutes in place of materials they could no longer access. And one of the most famous examples was the locally refined fuel, which is often remembered as Biafra fuel. People found ways to process petroleum products so that during wartime conditions, so that vehicles and other essentials could operate. And then there was the Research and Production Directorate, which was called RAP. Engineers and scientists worked on everything from communications equipment to industrial materials, and these people worked under extremely difficult circumstances. But let's be careful here. Some of these Biafra innovations have largely grown over time and are sometimes exaggerated online. But the core fact remains true. A remarkable amount of technological innovation took place despite the shortages, despite the bombardments, and despite the isolation. And that's what makes this story remarkable. Not because these people had perfect technology, but because these people refused to stop creating. For me, the lesson isn't that war produces greatness, war produces suffering. The real lesson here is something deeper. When people talk about the Biafran innovation, they also talk about the resilience of the people. They talk about what happens when a society is pushed to its limits, but still chooses to think, to build, to adapt, and to survive. And maybe that's why this story resonates with us today, because it proved to us that as humans, we have the ability to solve problems, whether the resources are limited or whether the resources disappear.